It's March. Oh, this is honestly like the 5th time I recorded this freaking video. But alright, so I'm gonna keep this one. This is the video I'm gonna keep, alright? Hey guys, okay, so today I'm gonna be doing my labor and delivery story. This is like 2 months late because my son was born in December. But, well, 3 months. Can't count. But anyways, so I decided to do my labor and delivery story just because I've been watching like a lot. Well, I used to watch like a labor and delivery video a day, once a day for 9 months. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I watched a lot of labor and delivery stories throughout my pregnancy, and I was kind of addicted to them, and it kind of motivated me to make my own and share my experience. And so hopefully an expectant mother can, you know, watch this. If you're watching this, hi, congratulations. And if you are already a mom and you just want to watch labor and delivery videos just because you miss being pregnant like I do, then enjoy my video and keep watching. My due, well, okay, so I was due on the 14th of December. I didn't have him until the 16th of December, but we're going to go ahead and start my labor and delivery story on the 12th of December, just to get like a little bit of a background story. During like the last month of pregnancy, I was like honestly over it. I was so over being pregnant. I was tired of feeling him in my ribs. I was tired of being uncomfortable. I was tired of peeing. I was just tired of just being pregnant. I just wanted to meet him. I wanted to see if he was cute. Like I just was, you know, I just was anxious to see my son. So I watched a couple of videos about castor oil. Now castor oil, it has like good reviews and it also has bad reviews. And it kind of made me a little skeptical about taking it, but at the same time I was so curious about the castor oil that I just decided to do it anyway. So I bought castor oil and I took it on Monday thinking that it would help naturally induce labor, which it didn't. Ultimately it did give me really bad diarrhea. I know that's TMI, but it gave me really bad diarrhea. Okay, I'm just gonna put that out there. Okay, it's like serious, so don't do it unless you want to take a shit. But on the plus side, I was constipated for like for like 2 weeks, give or take. So I mean, it, you know, it helped me go to the bathroom. Then the next day I didn't take anything. I just went to work like I normally would. And then on Wednesday, which was my due date, that was like, to me, that was the worst day ever, because I'm due today and obviously like I was being a Debbie Downer. I'm like, he's not coming today, blah blah blah. And then I went to work and I was upset because the way my job works is you cannot go on maternity leave unless your doctor says it's medically necessary to take off of work, or if you're past your due date. And I was neither. It was my due date. So technically I'm still capable of working. But, you know, I woke up that day and I was really depressed about it. I was crying. I'm like, I feel like I should be able to take off from work. Mind you, I have to catch a bus to work because parking is like $20 downtown. I'm not paying that. I don't know anybody who would pay that a day. No. So I caught the bus to work. And mind you, so I have to walk to the bus stop, catch the bus, then walk to my job because the bus doesn't come in front of my building. So I was tired. And then it's just like, pregnancy is so unpredictable. I didn't know when my water was going to break. I was afraid that it was going to break at work. Like, it was just, I don't understand why they didn't let me go on maternity leave when I wanted. But in hindsight, I am happy that I went when I actually went into labor and not when I wanted to, just because I could spend more time with my child. But anyways, okay, so we get to work and I was upset because people kept asking me, oh, when are you due? And I'm like, today. And they're like, well, why are you still at work? I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. Leave me alone. And then I started crying, of course, so they're looking at me like I'm an emotional wreck. But I was an emotional wreck. Once I got to my desk, I realized I'm not staying at work today. There's no way in hell I'm staying at work. So I got up to go to the bathroom, and then I devised a plan. After I went to the bathroom, I came back, and I told my coworkers I thought my water broke, even though I kind of knew it didn't break. I did see like a little bit of a trickle, but it was probably pee, whatever. So then they were like, tell the manager. I'm like, okay, I'll tell him. So I told my manager, and he started freaking out. He's like, you need to go and leave right now. Like, you need to go get that checked out. Like, you don't know if it's really your water. You need to go. And I'm like, all right. Call my boyfriend, I leave. And then once I get home, I try to drink castor oil again. And I kind of feel like that was honestly a bad idea, because at that point, that's when I started to worry. So later on that night, my boyfriend and I, we got in the shower, you know, we got ready for bed. I did my hair, which I'll insert a clip right there, or right there. When my hair, I flat ironed my hair, I thought it was cute. And then we laid down for bed, and everything was okay. But typically at nighttime, I like to play with, like, I like to mess with my stomach to see if he'll move at night, just for reassurance. And this night, it was about 10:30 on December 14th. It was 10:30 at night, and he wasn't moving. So I'm like, that's weird. So I like kind of like just kept doing it every once in a while, every so often, and he wouldn't move at all. So I started freaking out, like, and I'm one of those people who overreact, like, and it's to the point where it's extremely dramatic, the way that I overreact. Hold on one second, I gotta lock my door. All right, yeah. He wasn't moving, ultimately. He wasn't moving. So what I did was I instantly started thinking, okay, it was because of the castor oil. I shouldn't have taken the castor oil. I read that it can stress the baby out, and it can cause harm to the baby to the point where the baby can ultimately release the meconium, which is the baby's first poop, and that can ultimately, the baby can choke on it. So I started thinking, like, okay, that's what he did because I took the castor oil. I shouldn't have took the castor oil. So I'm freaking out in my head. I wake my boyfriend up. I'm like, yo, we need to go to the hospital right now. Something's wrong. He's not moving. And my boyfriend's like, well, do you want to pack the bags to go to the hospital just in case they keep us? And I'm like, no, don't take anything. Let's go. I want to go right now. I want to make sure everything's okay. So we get in the car and we're driving to the hospital, and I make my boyfriend put his hand on my stomach because I'm just like, I just need your energy. I don't know. And so we're driving to the hospital. He starts moving, and I feel stupid, but he starts moving. And my boyfriend, he was like, well, do you want to still go to the hospital? And I'm like, yeah, dude, we're already on our way. I just got to make sure everything's cool. We get to the hospital. They put me in triage. They put me on the monitors. And they're like, the midwives are like, well, everything's okay. Everything looks good. You look healthy. The amniotic fluid is still there. His heart rate's fine. Everything looks good. They were like, but because it's your due date, we are going to just monitor you for a while just to make sure that everything's okay. So they said, get some rest, and we'll check back on you. So while they leave, I closed my eyes for a little bit just to take a nap because I was tired. And they come back in, and the midwife was like, well, his heart rate dropped, so what we're going to do is admit you, just to be on the safe side. It's better since it's his due date, it's better for him to be out than in. So I'm like, okay. And I was nervous about getting induced just because I didn't want all the medical interventions, but at the same time I was so anxious for my son to come that I was just like, all right, cool. So I tell my boyfriend, and he goes back home to get our stuff, which I felt stupid because he should have just grabbed it in the first place, but I was just so nervous that I told him not to. So then they put us in the room, and they told me to get some rest. The labor and delivery room, they put us in there and told me to get some rest. And I'm like, who really gets rest when they're about to have a baby? You're anxious to meet your kid. There's no way you're going to be able to sleep. I don't know, some people might, but me, I was up. I could not sleep. And then they wanted to induce me, so what they did was they put Cervidil inside of my vagina, and they pushed it all the way back to my cervix so that it would soften my cervix, and that is supposed to stay in place for 12 hours, and then they would check me and see how much I've progressed. So they put that in at about 2 o'clock in the morning, I think, or something like that. So it's December 15th, 3:30 in the morning, and I am getting induced. The times that I say, they might not be 100% accurate, but they're like a ballpark, so forgive me. Okay, so, and then after that, you know, I did like rest, and I played on my phone, and I was telling my friends, I woke my best friend up, like, I'm going into labor. So she, you know, we were talking on the phone with her for a little bit. And then at about 8 o'clock in the morning, the next day, I noticed that I started cramping a little bit. But it wasn't too bad. I'd compare it to like menstrual cramps. But yeah, it definitely didn't feel comfortable. But I tried to ride it out because my goal was to get to at least 5 or 6 centimeters. So I tried to tough it out. And then by 10:30, I was crying and everything. It would hurt to go to the bathroom. My boyfriend I had to hold on to him. I was like, something's wrong. So I told him to call the nurses or the midwives. I had midwives. I keep forgetting they're midwives. I told them to come in and check me because I'm in a lot of pain. So I don't know if it was like they were switching shifts or something like that, but a doctor actually came in. She was a bitch. She was really rude to me, and she checked me, but I was in so much pain. And then she checked me, and that made it worse. So while she's checking for my cervix, I'm screaming, "Can you please stop?" Because it hurt so bad. And she got an attitude with me, and she was like, "Well, do you want me to check you?" And I'm just like, I mean, yeah, I want you to check me, but this really hurts. So she had an attitude. Come to find out, she was pregnant. She's probably like hormonal, but I don't care. I didn't care that you were hormonal. You're dealing with someone in labor that's in pain. You be sensitive to you're supposed to be sensitive to me. You're supposed to accommodate my needs. If I'm saying I'm in pain, chill out. So she checks me. Come to find out, I was only 1 centimeter dilated. So I started crying because I'm just like, I'm in so much pain, and to only be 1 centimeter dilated, I felt so discouraged. Like, because at that point I knew. At that point I knew that I had to get the epidural. I had to get the epidural. It was just no way in hell I couldn't go without it. So I got the epidural. It didn't really hurt. I don't know. A lot of people say that it hurts, but it really didn't. Like, then they put a needle in and they numb you, and then they put the actual needle in and they thread the medicine inside that needle, and then they tape it down, and then there's a button you can press to administer a drug each time you're in pain. So I was pressing that button like, So then they checked me every so often, and I was like slowly progressing. On the December 15th, I was slowly progressing. My friends came to visit me. We guessed the times that he would come, so I'll insert that clip here somewhere as well. Hi, Vaughn. So it's December 15th, 2016. You're a day late. And right now we're with your aunties, Brittany.
Hi,
and got Auntie Mama.
Oh, I can't.
Yeah, you can't flip the camera. No. So
It's me.
So, we're excited to meet you. And hopefully you wait until your dad comes back because he's taking a test right now.
I'll wait until. So what time do you think you're gonna?
I think they're gonna come a little after midnight now. I was thinking 10, but it's kind of late now, and I'm not progressing, so I'm thinking a little after midnight.
Okay, Brittany, what's your guess?
My guess is 4 a.m.
4?
Yep.
See, I guess.
So us guessing the times and just showing you guys the support that I had while I was in a labor and delivery room. And then there was a couple of times where I actually had to have the guy that administers the epidural, anesthesiologist, yeah, I had him come in a couple of times and give me a stronger dose of the epidural because the button just wasn't working, because you can only press it twice within 1 hour. I needed it more than that because that shit was hurting.
She's so ugly. Hi, Vaughn. Come on, we're waiting on you.
Is it going down?
No, it's getting higher.
So then, labor's no joke. I don't know how people can go natural without drugs. Boy. But, yeah, and then they put me on Pitocin. So we're in the labor and delivery room. This is where, when you come out, when the baby comes out, he's going to be in this little...
Vaughn, you're going to be right here.
He's going to be in there. I'm on Pitocin right now. I'm on 2 drips. And I'm having contractions, and the epidural is starting to wear off.
How many centimeters dilated?
It is 6:45, and I'm 3 centimeters dilated. And they actually didn't have to put me on a high dose of Pitocin because even though I was slowly progressing, I was still progressing. So they didn't want to rush my labor, which was amazing, thank God, because I did not want my labor to be rushed. If it took 50 hours, if it took 20 hours, I don't care how long it took, I did not want it to be rushed. So I was glad that they didn't give me like a stronger dose of Pitocin. The highest dose they put me at was 6. So that was great. And they even lowered it like once I got closer to pushing because I didn't need it that much. I was progressing on my own, really. After I got the epidural, I did finally go to sleep for a little bit. I think I went to sleep for like an hour or 2, which was enough sleep for me. But then I woke back up, and then, my family came again. They supported me the whole day. I appreciate them so much. I even had a moment where I was just telling my friends and family like how much I appreciate them. My sister recorded me. I don't know if I have that clip, but if I do, I'll insert that as well. I was really crying like, I appreciate y'all. Y'all have to do this for me. Dramatic. And then after a while, I noticed that I started getting like the shivers. I don't know if that's like the way the epidural, like if that's like a side effect of the epidural, but I was shivering real bad. It was like really weird. And then on December 16th, they checked me at like about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, or no, it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. I think it was like between 5 and 7 o'clock in the morning. I was 7 centimeters. So I was real happy about that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting closer and closer to 10 centimeters. So, then I decided to get the peanut ball, which they put it in between your legs, and it kind of is supposed to open you up a little bit more, so it makes makes it easier for the baby to come down the birth canal. So I got the peanut ball, and then they asked me if they wanted to break my water, if they could break my water, and I said no. I'm 7 centimeters. I don't want to rush my labor, and I'd rather it break on its own. And I just had this hope that it would break on its own. So I just relaxed, and then they checked me again about 8 o'clock, I want to say, and I was 9 centimeters. And this is when I officially got nervous as fuck. Like, I was like, oh shit, I only have 1 more centimeter left, then I gotta push this baby out my cooch. Like, well, sorry for the language, but then I gotta push him out. So I started freaking out a little bit, just in my head though. And then about 9:30 in the morning on December 16th, that's when they're like, okay, you're 10 centimeters. So I did some practice pushes, which I'll insert that as well. I did some practice pushes, and then I did like maybe 3 of those, and then I actually started pushing. And I felt so dumb while I was pushing, because it just felt like I wasn't pushing, like I wasn't doing it right. I don't know, they were like, push like you have to poop. So I'm like, all right, I'm pushing like I have to poop, and then I poop on the table. But that's what they told me to do. I did it, and then I pooped on the table. Hey, sue me. And then it took about 35 to 40 minutes, and then his head came out, and then the rest of his body was just like, it came out so quick, like, oh my gosh. And then my mom was screaming. She's like, oh my gosh, Vaughn. My son's name is Vaughn. My mom was freaking out like, Vaughn. Oh, I'm so overwhelmed. Oh, I need to sit down. I'm like, damn, she freaking out more than me. And I started crying, and then I stopped because I noticed his head was all coned and shit, and he had all this slime on him. It was kind of gross. So I stopped crying, and then after that, we did the delayed cord cutting, because I read that there was a lot of benefits to that. So we delayed the cord cutting for about, I think it was like 2 or 3 minutes. It seemed longer than that, but I think it was just because I was in such a euphoric state. It just seemed like it was longer than it really was. And then my boyfriend, he cut the cord, and then after that, we breastfed. We did, what is it called, kangaroo time or something like that, where we did skin to skin. He just latched right on, and it was like the greatest feeling ever. And he was 7 pounds 8 ounces, and he was 19 inches long, and he was born at 10:19. And that was like honestly one of the best days of my life, because like, first of all, I'm not pregnant no more, so I don't have to carry him around anymore. Well, I mean, I still have to carry him, but not like to sleep and to work, you know. So I was happy about that. I wasn't pregnant anymore. And then I was happy I finally got to meet the person that I was growing for 9 months. So I was really happy. And then after that, we went to the labor and delivery room, or not, I'm sorry, not the labor and delivery room, the postpartum room. And that's where I was like, okay, I'm tired. I needed to get some sleep. But I did not feel comfortable with my baby in the nursery. I know a lot of people were telling me, take advantage of the nursery now, because once you get home, your sleep, say goodbye to your sleep. But my boyfriend and I, we didn't feel comfortable with him in the nursery. I think he only was in there, like, I think we only put him in there once for like 2 hours, maybe. But he was staying with us the whole time we stayed there. He was with us. And I don't regret that at all, because nowadays you just can't trust anybody. I don't care, doctor, midwife, you can't trust anybody. So I don't regret that. I mean, we were going to lose sleep regardless. Why not lose sleep with your child with you than to be in a nursery? I don't know, maybe I was paranoid, but whatever. But yeah, that is my labor and delivery story. I'm pretty sure I probably forgot a couple of parts, but it was so long ago I don't remember everything. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my video. I would bring my baby in here so you guys can see him, but he's asleep, and I do not want to wake a sleeping baby, because that is against the law. So yep, like, comment, and subscribe to me. And yeah, if you have your labor and delivery story and you want to share it, definitely leave it below in the comments. I'd love to read them. Or if you have a YouTube channel, send your link and I'll watch your YouTube channel. But alright guys, thanks for watching. Bye.